Beyond the Veil, Navigating the Great Awakening, a special series on Survivor Angels.
It's time for Survivor Angels, an approach to strengthen trauma survivors. Here, you can escape what draws negativity and engage your positive abilities and the gifts that you've always had. Let's activate your angels. And to help you on that journey, here's Chaplain Jodi.
We are in October, Jen. October 25. And yes, it's all of this. For people who are watching and listening right now that heard us talk about September, we told you, didn't we? We told you what it was going to be like.
Yes,
and now we're to October.
Yep. October, I think, is our reset, is where we are now at the plotting point. We've shed everything that we're supposed to, what wasn't serving us, etc. And I think this is our start point of, now let's go. Let's see where we're at. Let's open ourselves up. Let's be honest with ourselves and have that introspection to set a plot point forward to start for the new year.
Right. Yes, I am saying this for all of you who are watching and listening, that you probably had a rocky September. I'm going to throw this out there. Jen already knows this. I had a very rocky end to September where I took a faceplant header, last Friday. And you can't really see it right now, but my whole side of my face is pretty much purple. And it's a good thing I'm kind of still sitting here, supposedly. But I am, and that's good. But it was weird how it happened, because I think that, I'm not going to say angels did it to me, but they were part of the process of making sure that I am here today to talk about it, without a doubt. And it was a wake-up call for me. It was a reality check that I needed coming out of September. Not that September didn't give me enough reality checks, but they gave me like that final one, because as you said, October is a 180. It's a 180 from what we were doing in September. What's the first thing that you see, Jen?
I think the first part of this month is going to be very emotional. It's going to start pulling on our emotions quite a bit, and that's part of the sloughing off. Pluto is playing an action, and what Pluto does is it removes things from our relationships. It removes people in our lives.
Yes.
I already have a friend whose parent has passed. And it's like, this is all part of the plan. So people saying, my contract is up, I'm going to go now. That's going to start the ball rolling for this next 3 months. People are going, have I learned my lessons? Have I done this? Am I ready to repeat? Am I going to continue? And they may not. So don't be surprised when you see in the news, this person passed, or this person passed, or this person passed. But not just people. It's things that we're letting go of. People that we're letting go of. Relationships that no longer serve. These are the sloughing off. But there's emotions that come through with it. So the first part of this month, we may get a little more emotional. Things may hit us differently. Just know that it's in the atmosphere, it's in the ethers, it's not just you. The planets are moving and there's a dynamics between it. And so just realize that if you're starting to cry over that commercial or whatever, that's part of the process and you're okay.
Yeah. It's so interesting that you say contracts, because that was a word angels gave to me, was contracts. You're going to be renegotiating contracts. Contracts are going to end. So whether that's a life contract that you're talking about, a soul contract, whether it's a business contract, whether it's a relationship contract, like marriage, something like that, it can be any of the above. But yes, you're going to be taking a hard look at all of those. In some cases, you're going to be setting new boundaries or expanding your boundaries. And you're going to need to be very intentional about this. You can't just very offhandedly say, well, I want to do this, or I want it to look this way. No, you're going to have to say, in light and love, I need it to be. Don't say I want it to be, because what we want and what we need, that's going to get us in trouble. So need to go for the light side, saying, this is what I need. And this means you've got to turn and look inside yourself. You have got to start doing, to use an old term, you got to start doing some soul searching. You really, really do. You can't put it off any longer, because we're going to get to the nitty gritty here sooner rather than later. I know I'm using a lot of cliches right now, but that's because that's a language we all understand is cliches. Life is going to be changing very drastically in the next 6, 12, 18 months. And it's going to move faster than what we want, faster than what we are going to believe is happening. It's going to get, and I know I've said this before, it's going to get really, really interesting. Really interesting. It's sort of like strap in, because here we go. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially with the first of the month. I think it's the 6th is the full moon, and it's a hunter's moon, which means we get that extra light. And with extra light in the universe, we have illumination highlighting things in our lives, the awakening, seeing clearly, having that sight. So that's where the emotions with the full moon and the light and everything else comes in. My question to you, when people are feeling all these emotions, and the moon definitely affects people's moods and up and down and all that, who would you recommend having that extra help, with the emotional base and the full moon energy? Who would you call upon?
2 angels I would call in. First one would be Chamuel. Chamuel is going to help you with your emotions, any healing that you need with your emotions. And God knows we all need to constantly be working on healing our emotions, because we're emotional beings. That's part of who we are. And so Chamuel is going to help you walk that path. But then also you want to bring in Haniel. Haniel is about balance and harmony, and is going to help get you to that level playing field that you need to be able to walk this part of the journey that's coming up. Just popped in my head too. Jophiel is sitting here going, me, because Jophiel is about the discernment piece. And so if you're having any trouble trying to figure out how any of this looks, that's when you want Jophiel there talking to you. And that can look all kinds of different ways, because as we know, angels will come to you in all kinds of different ways. I'm going to throw this out right now. The angel numbers for October are 2244, and they can come as 4 numbers, 2244, or they can come as 22 and 44. Those are going to be key numbers for everybody in the month of October. Okay. When you see those numbers anywhere, stop, drop and roll, basically. Stop, listen, and internalize. That's the thing that you're going to want to do, because that's primarily how angels are going to present themselves to all of us, is through the angel numbers. If you know your personal angel number, they're going to come to you that way too, to get your attention. Not everybody knows that, but there are different ways of finding it out. You can use with your birth date and your name. There's just, what number, just think back, has always been there, always been there, always been there to get your attention. That could be your angel number as well. I can't guide you 100% on that, because I don't know you. And so I don't know your whole background, and what might be causing those numbers at those different times. So that's a discerning piece that you can use Jophiel with, is to figure out your angel number. your personal one. That doesn't mean the other numbers don't work for you. Absolutely, they work for you. But it's just you've got your personal ones too, which when all else fails, they'll defer to that. And that means all the angels are coming at you because it's like, hello, we're trying to talk to you.
Right. And I've found that over the years, each decade, the numbers might change depending on what lessons you've learned. So these numbers may be prominent. And I lived in a house that had 199. My badge number as a police officer was 199. I lived at 991 at a different house. So the combination was all there. And then learn lessons. There's now 2 and 4s and 6s in my numbers, so the numbers have changed depending on where you are in life and how you move. But you're right. I've seen more people recently post 222, 111, or 1111, all these kind of people are seeing them. People are waking up going, I'm getting messages from the other side. They're opening themselves up and hearing, right? More and more. We've fallen asleep, and I think people are starting to wake up, which is really going to be important this month because the middle of the month, there's going to be a dying of some of our egos. We're going to get hit right in the solar plexus in our sacral area with our egos. And you need to realize that it's not an attack on you, but your ego will be challenged. For the people who realize this and move past it, there's going to be blessings and abundance. For the people who don't and are stuck in their ego pattern, me, there may be some issues. So emotional in the very beginning of the month, egocentric in the middle, and then we'll talk about the end of the month as we go on.
Right. Yes, absolutely. I call it ego busting. Yes. Everybody is going to have to go through at least one phase of ego busting in their life, at least one phase, because our egos are what shuts us down to the revelations and the wisdom that we need on our soul journey. And we chose our soul journey. Nobody else chose it for us. We chose our own. And that's where the angels come in, because their one job in sending us the messages and communicating with us to guide and protect us and warn us, all those things when we are straying off the path of that soul journey that we picked for ourselves. That doesn't mean that journey is that it's not without pain and some suffering and some dark days, dark months, dark years. We chose it. And that's what helps us to break down our ego when we stop blaming everything else for our oh, woe is me times. All of a sudden, those times aren't oh, woe is me once you've busted that ego, because you're like, all right, I did this to myself. I'm going to get through this. Where are my tools? What do I need? I am going to get myself through all of this. And so that's why some people go through that ego busting more than others, because they haven't learned the lessons that were part of that. Those dark times are for us to learn lessons that keep us on the soul journey that we chose for ourselves. We got nobody else to blame but us. And that's where we turn to look inside us.
Absolutely. And with the hunter's moon illuminating us, illuminating our surroundings, that is key in, okay, I need to take the I out of things. I need to look at this with discernment, with clear eyes, clear vision, light, and see where I need to own my responsibility. We need to take out the pride and our hurt and our egos and what people think and just be honest with ourselves, because this month is very transformative with awakening our senses, being true to ourselves, owning it. If we have problems, which we all do, own them. How can I do better? Where am I headed now? So I find that that's really going to be in the middle of the month. And then with the comet activity and all that extra energy, use that as an accelerant. The comet's going to be like, I think the 21st, 22nd. So you can use that energy to your benefit to really illuminate and highlight and get some energy behind, I need to stop doing this. I want to be better. I'm awakening. I am understanding what I'm doing. I'm not going to do that anymore, and let's move forward.
Absolutely. Amen to that.
Yeah.
One piece people need to be very cognizant of right now. Our political system is in major turmoil right now. It's just ratcheting up and up and up. We are all part of that ratcheting up and up and up. And within each of us, we can stop it. And that's exactly what you're talking about. We need to stop with the gossiping. We need to stop with the fake news. We need to start doing our research. What is factual and what isn't factual, and who is telling lies and who isn't telling lies, who's telling half-truths, and get to bottom of what the truth is to bring us up. Not to keep battering against each other, but to bring ourselves up and become one. I'm not saying within the country, because I know I'm going to get backlash for that. That's part of it. But one with the entire world and the universe. That's what this is about. It's not one within you. It's not one within us. It's one within everything. And until that time, everything is going to keep self-destructing. We are part of that self-destruction process. And again, that's another accountability issue. So my advice, and take it for what it's worth, stop bashing, stop gossiping, stop telling lies, find out the truth, get to the bottom of the truth, and then find the solution. Don't keep talking about what's wrong. You can't keep talking about that if you don't have a solution. And it's not get rid of that person, get rid of that person. No, it's how does everybody come together? Call it a kumbaya meeting if you want. I don't care. It doesn't make any difference to me. But for Pete's sakes, come together and start talking about solutions and resolution, knowing that not everybody is right. You can't satisfy everybody. And that's why it's called compromise, because we're all different and we all live in this world together. Okay, I'm off my soapbox. Sorry.
Yeah, no, but that brings up a good point. Like, so many people are like online, I'm going to unplug. I need 2 days. I'm staying off the web. There's a reason, because collectively the energy is so against each other that it brings the vibrations down. It brings us lower. We feel not good. We need to get away from that energy. There's a reason why this is happening. And yes, by all means, if you need to unplug, mental health reasons, whatever, unplug, but come back regenerate, energized. Come back with the intention that, here's where we are. I'm going to bring the vibration level up here.
Right.
I'm going to put a fun little joke online just to break up the levity, just to make people laugh and get out of that funk. It's being honest with yourself. Once again, seeing with clarity. I don't care whose side you're on. I don't either. I have my own side. I make my own mind. I'm intelligent enough to check multiple sources to make my own decisions about stuff.
Right.
But in doing that, it's about the honesty. During like the meteor shower time, there will be communication issues, and I believe you're hitting it right on the nose, that it will be a lot of the political stuff. The communication issues is going to be big, and if people are not hearing this and we're not collectively saying that's not right, that's not what I heard, or I'm going to check this out, it'll keep the division going. We need to be real honest with what's going on, the communication that's being said, the pointing the fingers, all that's got to go. We have to balance out the energy, know where we stand. If we're not sure, research it. Like you said, pray on it, pray for our political leaders, that kind of stuff, that the communication will get to the point where we have a consensus, that we have maybe not the perfect agreement, but an agreement for the betterment of humanity.
Yes. Amen. Angels right now, they're telling me control, control, control. Stop worrying about the things that you can't control. we can't control who our political leaders are. They are who they are. But what we can do is stop listening to the messaging by where it's coming from, who it's coming from, but what is the message? And then test the message without looking at sides. And because there are grains of truth on both sides, and those grains of truth meet in the middle for the truth. And that then is what we need to go off of. We can't control them doing it, so we have to do it within ourselves, because for each one of us that does it and somebody else does it, that energy level, like you said, is just coming up and up in the world to where things will start coming around. Hey, is that Al?
Oh, no, it's my son. He's foraging.
Yeah, I mean, we feel like there's no control for us because nobody in Washington is listening to us. Face it, nobody in state government is listening to us. Nobody in local government is listening to us. But we can do it by within ourselves, stop pandering to them, because that's what they want, is they want us to just fall in lockstep and go, yes, 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 yes. And I'm going, no, 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 I'm not going to do it. I am not going to do that with you people. You do not control me or my mind.
October 21st and 22nd with the new moon.
Yes.
That's going to create some energy. It's looking for balance, justice, that kind of thing. But with the meteor, 2 different showers going through, there's, like I said, it's going to be volatile. It's going to be hostile at some point. This is talking about political. This is talking about personal. So think personal as well, not just what everybody else in politics is doing. This could be about a settlement, claiming justice for yourself or claiming justice on an issue. Definitely, it will try the communication. Just remember, 21st, 22nd, new moon. Relax on the energy. Realize how we are communicating with others. There could be disputes. Just realize, take that step back, get rid of the ego, and say, okay, you may win the argument, but you may lose the battle. So just remember that. Just, am I trying to prove my point, or am I actually pulling back, listening, discerning, and making good communicative decisions that are fair and equal? That's it. Especially during the new moon time.
Yeah, because as soon as we stop feeding into all the other frenzy and chaos, it will settle down. But as long as we keep feeding into it, it's going to keep going higher and higher. So we have that control. We very much have that control. Go sit outside and just breathe. Something as simple as that. Get yourself a nice cup of tea, hot chocolate now with the weather getting colder, in the upper regions here and stuff, and just shut it all down and go take you time and just think about, where is my life at, and where would I like to be, and how do I get there? Call in your angels, and they're feeding you all the time right now. So you just need to open. And you can very much open. Call them in light and love and just say, I am listening. Talk to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, like we said, this is like the jumping point, the platform point that's going to take us, the energy from these next couple months into our new year. So how are we setting ourselves up for success? Spiritual introspection, that's huge, especially with, like I said, the new moon and all the energy and the political divide, etc. I feel like it's really going to come to a head. Let's remove ourselves from that, right? Let's take care of ourselves. We have already talked about how to take care of ourselves from, January all the way up to this point. Like you said, take that step back, that moment, do your colors of the chakra, listen to the birds singing, watch that child at the playground swing and with happy giggles, all those kind of things, put that energy back into us, right? And feeds our soul. That's what we need to really focus on. because I definitely feel like this is definitely the wake up aha moment.
Uh-huh.
And just remember that every 3 days you're like, oh, have I taken care of me? Have I done this? Have I done that? Let me take a 5 minute, like 5 minutes in your shower, whatever. I'm going to take this 5 minutes just to zone out. Right before
Right.
bed, I'm going to take this 5 minutes just for me.
Yep.
That will help you balance this month out. This month, I think, is fairly easy, unlike September,
Yes.
that was crazy.
It
Um,
was.
but this month, I think, is fairly easy because it's setting us up for success. It's just a matter of
Yes.
us having the courage to be honest with ourselves and take it.
Yes. Angels also are saying to me right now, help others, help others, help others. And what they mean by that is physically, how can you help other people? Winter is coming. Do
Right.
you have do you have people in your neighborhood that are going to need some help? Um, Shoveling their sidewalk and driveway, getting to the store, whatever the case might be. Do you have a single mom or single dad that's going to need some help with kids? Just think of who. Do you have a coworker that goes into seasonal depression? How can you help them to cope with that as a friend, as a colleague? Those sorts of things, because once you start getting outside of yourself, the world for you looks a whole lot brighter too. And you're no longer focusing on everything, all the chaos that's a distraction for you, is basically what it is. Chaos is nothing but a distraction for who you are and what you should be doing. And so it's time to ditch those distractions. Focus. Gabriel is going to be your communication piece. Jophiel is going to be your discernment, your distraction, wisdom. Chamuel is going to be the love for yourself, all of that good stuff, the healing part. And then you've got Haniel for the balance and the harmony. So there's a whole bunch of angelic energy right there that can help you. And like you said, chakras, crystals.
Yeah, and I love the point that you put about being there for others, even if that's something you struggle with. There's something we can all do on our own without having to tell anybody. Get rid of those coats, give it to a pantry. Go get some food out of your pantry and drop it at the food shelter, because this is the time we're helping our brothers and sisters, right? We don't have to tell anybody. This is just for ourselves. This is for our own energy. This is the payback. This is our karma, where you put the love out into the world. Guess what? The love comes back tenfold, right?
Right.
And so, yeah, help the elderly neighbor, check on them. Maybe mow that mow strip in between your land and their land, um, pull up their garbage can for them if they're elderly. These are all those small things that add up and promote the good energy, especially with the crazy energy that we're going to have like midpoint. The little hobgoblins are going to be coming out at the end of the month. Do something a little extra, maybe. Put a little note with their little candy saying, "You're a great person. Keep up the good work," or whatever it may be. Just something that put a smile on somebody's face. Smile at somebody at the grocery store. It's infectious.
Yeah.
All those little things definitely add up. And so once again, we want to set ourselves up, right? With good energy, focused energy, attention to detail, awakening who we are, getting rid of that ego so that we can come in honesty into November, which is our Thanksgiving, right?
Right.
So use the energy of the hunter's moon. There's a reason why it's called the hunter's moon, and it illuminates the ground. You don't need flashlights. It's so bright. There's a reason why things happen when they do. So I would use
Yep.
that.
Yep. So let let the light shine for you, and see what the message is that's coming through for October. And then you will have a much more pleasant November. So, Jen, thank you.
Thank you.
Can't
And
wait
I'm
to
sure.
hear how your October is when we meet in November.
Right? I have a whole thing in my head about November coming up anyway. So
Oh,
you got to tune in next
great.
time.
All right.
Yep.
So everybody who's out there watching and listening, take care. Have a great October. You're gonna survive.
Bye, guys.
Thanks again for joining Chaplain Jodi on Survivor Angels. For more information, go to chaplainjodi.me. That's chaplainjodi.me. And on Facebook at Survivor Angels-Chaplain Jodi. This is Dave Schrader. Until next time, sending you off to activate your angels.